Peggy 18.
The project began for me in May 2015 when I joined the team. One of the first conversations I had was with creative director Dan. We really want authenticity in the South American cultures that we're going to represent. I started to look around for specialists in South American music and those kind of sounds, and very quickly came up with the name Brian De La Vera.
Rob came by in person to the studio. Very nonchalantly, actually. He just showed up and, hey, how's it going? I want to chat to you about something I'm working on. Could possibly work. And yeah, it's Tomb Raider. He's, you know, and I was floored, actually. One
of the first sort of concepts that really came out of that meeting for the sound and for the music was this idea of fear.
Get into the texture of what darkness is. What is that sound? I got so inspired, I basically spent a whole night sleepless and I started recording right away.
It was really weird because that was actually the sound that I had in my head.
It was the beginning of an amazing journey for these past 3 years. I had done a lot of trips in my life. I had gone to Mexico, I'd gone to Peru, I've been all over South America. But I realized that I really needed to go and dig deeper. So I did a specific trip to Mexico where I went instrument hunting. I showed up there with 2 suitcases empty, a little backpack, and I didn't know anybody. And I had 10 days, and this is like, let's go hunt. And I showed up, started making phone calls. I remember one time I found these magical rocks in this town called Minerales de Pozos.
It's made of volcanic rock. Hit the rocks with other rocks, and it sounds very strange.
And I had a little helper, and they were like, "Pinches piedras!" Like, what are you doing taking these rocks?
All these sort of instruments that you would have no idea that could even be used as an instrument.
I filled up 8 bags of instruments, and the beautiful thing was that actually everybody was really helpful. They were just fascinated. They were like, "What? You're taking these pre-Hispanic Mexican instruments and you're doing what? You're doing a video game? Like, what is this?"
Many different instruments. The ones that really stand out to me as being really unique are the death whistle, which is like more of an Aztec instrument. It's like a clay skull, which is various sizes but make very scary, almost like a human scream sound.
I actually spent some time with makers and I learned how to make instruments. I sat down for a couple days and learned how the flutes work, what the mechanics are and the approach of all these little wind instruments and drums.
Some of the percussion instruments like the teponatzli, which is a kind of horizontal wooden log, which has a really unique sound to it, and the huehuetl, which is a hollowed out tree trunk, more of a sort of a stand-up kind of drum, which again has this really unique sound to and all those 3 together obviously sound really kind of amazing. One of the things we really wanted to do is to move away a little bit from the more melodic approach of the previous games, go more into that idea of, fear and ambience, and to have the player feel like they don't really know what is music and what is a sound effect.
In a sense, this is how they approach music also in pre-Hispanic cultures. It's not just the flute that makes a melody. Actually, the flute is meant to be a part of the environment and it would emulate certain birds or effects.
So we'll take a lot of elements of Brian's music, like the death whistles and things like that, and we'll actually place them in 3D in a lot of these tomb spaces, so that as the player moves the camera around, they actually hear these musical elements panning around.
So I found 2 instruments that really represented Lara. For me, the main one is the cello, actually. To me, it's her past, it's her physical embodiment. And then I found also this one death whistle, which is it's shaped like a puma and it sounds like a puma, and you hear that all over the game.
In the jungle that she finds herself in, it's a very threatening, very dangerous place. It was really important to get the birds and animals and pick the ones that would really fit in with that idea of fear, like the howler monkeys. There's also birds like the oropendola, which sound really bizarre and really different to the birds that we would expect to hear.
A lot of the instruments you hear are instruments that I found in the Amazonian jungle. This instrument was made by the shaman that I spent time with. And this specific instrument was the starting point for me to actually work the parts of the jungle. I remember being in the middle of the night on ayahuasca and he's playing this.
So another one of the key sort of locations in the game is this hidden city called PAITITI. Instead of music as a score, we treat music like source music that people are actually playing in the marketplace or wherever it is. We worked really closely with the animation department to make sure that the right instruments were being played in the correct way. One of the really important things for us was that this game needed to feel very cinematic. So we took the game to Pinewood Studios in the UK. We mixed the game in Dolby Atmos. That really helps to exaggerate this sense of verticality in the game. They mixed so many iconic movies. It felt like the perfect place to finish the project.
When I was a kid, I was obsessed with Mayan and Aztec culture, actually. It's a huge part of me, and to be able to explore that and be real and show the aspects of it that are positive, it was a huge chance for me.
Our goal has always been to create the most visceral, emotional, and intense Tomb Raider experience that's ever been seen. The work we've done on the sound and the music all feels really like it's achieved that goal, and it's something I'm very proud of.